McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. Tender, juicy, and its own sauce. Would you look at that? Well, you can't see it, but trust me, it looks delicious. New McCrispy strips, now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
If your dog could talk, they'd warn you about what's lurking in their bowl. Mass-produced kibble isn't just unappetizing. It could be a crime against canine health. Mysterious byproducts, unpronounceable preservatives, and who knows what fillers? Sounds more like evidence from a crime scene than dinner. Ollie is here to crack the case on pet nutrition with fresh human-grade meals made with the highest quality ingredients. No mystery meats, no artificial junk, just real, minimally processed food made in U.S. kitchens. It's the kind of clean eating that keeps tails wagging and noses sniffing for more. With 5 fresh protein-first recipes, like beef with sweet potatoes and turkey with blueberries, your pup won't have to wonder what's in their food ever again. Because when it comes to their health, the only mystery should be where you hide the treats. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/truecrime. Tell them all about your dog and use code TRUECRIME to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/truecrime and enter code TRUECRIME to get 60% off your first box.
Hi, I'm Jessie Prey.
And I'm Andy Cassette. If you're captivated by true crime stories that delve deep into the complexities of love and betrayal, Love Murder is your next binge.
Each week, we present long-form narrative episodes backed by meticulous research, exploring cases where passion leads to peril.
Take, for instance, Blanche Taylor Moore, a seemingly devout preacher's wife who concealed a deadly secret, leaving a trail of poisoned partners.
Or the tragic tale of Chad Shelton and Dwayne Johnson, whose sudden deaths unveiled a web of familial deceit and revenge.
These aren't just stories. They're deep dives into the human psyche and the dark side of love.
Join us on Love Murder as we uncover the chilling narratives of love gone fatally wrong.
Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 419 of the True Crime All the Time Unsolved podcast. I'm Mike Ferguson, and with me, as always, is my partner in true crime, Mike Gibson. Gibby, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, I am too. Thanks for asking.
I was getting around to that.
Let's go ahead and give our Patreon shout-outs. We had Savvy C.
You're so savvy.
Amy Chieri.
Hey, Chieri.
Neosha Jackson.
What's up, Jackson?
Or Neosha. Might be Neosha.
I think it's Neosha.
Erica Del Rio.
Hey, Erica.
Mark.
What up, Mark?
Amanda Platter.
Hey, Amanda.
Jordan Dumais.
Well, thank you, Jordan.
Alyssa Lilly.
Hey, Lily.
Megan Clanton.
What's up, Clanton?
Jeremy Z.
Z, take Jay-Z.
It's like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
William.
Hey, William.
J. Mike.
What up, Jay?
And last but not least, Emmy Lulu.
Well, thanks, ELL.
So appreciate that. And then if we go back into the vault, this week we selected Sarah.
Or Sarah.
Or Sarah. Whatever will be, will be. Exactly. We appreciate all the support gives. We always do. We also have a brand new episode out right now on True Crime All the Time, where we're talking about Dale Bruner, who reported his wife Stephanie missing in 2010. And this is one where during the course of the investigation, police found evidence of a troubled marriage, incidents of domestic violence. But, you know, from the outside looking in, everybody who knew them, or most people who knew them, thought they had a great marriage.
Is it the old rose-colored glasses?
Maybe, but it was far from that.
It definitely was.
All right, buddy, are you ready to get into this episode of True Crime All the Time Unsolved?
I was born ready.
We are talking about Jennifer and Adrianna Wix. Jennifer Wix and her daughter Adrianna have been missing since March 2004. 21 years later, they still have not been found. Authorities consider Jennifer's former boyfriend, a person of interest. He claimed he saw her get into a white car with an unknown driver, but investigators have not been able to verify his story.
21 years.
Long time.
It is.
For friends and family members not to know what happened to their loved ones. But, these unsolved cases where the police have a very specific person of interest are always fascinating to me. They may believe that this person had something to do with it, but for 21 years, they haven't been able to put the evidence together.
That's the problem.
Jennifer Wix was born on August 16th, 1982. Her mom, Kathy Nail, described Jennifer as a mother hen to her younger sisters, Casey and Heather. Jennifer was a sweet but headstrong young woman. Growing up, she occasionally argued with her mother, but Kathy recalled that Jennifer always wrote her an apology letter afterward.
She just needed to say what was on her mind.
Yeah. Now, I have 2 girls. Everyone knows that. There have been plenty of arguments between both of them and my wife. I think that goes with the mother-daughter relationship.
Absolutely.
Throughout the years. But I will say, now that they're both in their 20s, there's a lot less arguing and a lot more understanding, I think, of each other's issues and problems, if that makes any sense.
If you had to say which one was more headstrong, I think I know which one you would say.
The one that's most like me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. Jennifer was 19 when her daughter Adrianna was born on January 14th, 2002. Kathy spoke to Dateline about her reaction to finding out Jennifer was pregnant, saying, "Things happen in life and we're just going to deal with it. We're going to make the best of it. And this is going to be a loved baby." And I think that reaction can be different for different people.
Sure it can.
I'm sure there are some parents who would say, "Oh my gosh, you're 19, you're too young." But, I think a lot of parents would have this similar reaction. Hey, we'll make the best of it, but we're going to love the you-know-what out of this baby.
Absolutely.
I'm 52, and I cannot wait to have a grandchild.
We just have to hold on just a little bit longer.
Yeah, my daughter's getting married next year, so let's not put the baby before the cart, literally, or the horse before the cart. What is the saying? I don't know.
The cart before the horse?
Yes, maybe that's what it is.
Or the baby behind the buggy? I don't know.
I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Jennifer's sister, Casey Robinson, helped take care of Adrianna while Jennifer worked nights. Casey told Fox 17, Adrianna was just it. She was her whole life. Jennifer loved Adrianna more than anything. Kathy told Dateline she just felt like Adrianna was her angel and had just saved her life. She said, "She's probably just been an angel for me and saved me in a lot of ways, prevented me from going the wrong path."
Man, we could probably say similar things about our kids, especially that first one that comes along. It really puts your life in perspective.
Yeah, and I know for me, having a child changed me quite a bit. It made me more responsible. Number one, you have to be more responsible.
Sure do.
Because you got to take care of this, little baby who can't take care of themselves. But, I stopped partying. I stopped kind of going out and doing those things because, I wanted to be home with the baby.
Yeah.
It does kind of become your whole world.
It really does.
Jennifer spent the first year and a half of Adrianna's life living with her mother and younger sisters in Cross Plains, Tennessee. In the summer of 2003, she started dating 23-year-old Joey Benton. Kathy Nail told Dateline that she didn't like the way Joey sometimes treated Adrianna and Jennifer, and she wouldn't allow him in her house.
Well, hey, if mom and grandma, same person, right, says, "Hey, I don't like how you treat my daughter and granddaughter," you are not coming in here. It's her right.
You're not welcome.
You're not welcome. Treat them better. Maybe I'll let you come in.
Well, let's face it, Gibbs. What parent wants their child and their grandchild for that matter, to be around someone who doesn't treat them well.
Right.
Now, it happens. People get into relationships with a person, you think they're a certain way. And at some point, along in the relationship, you figure out that they're a little different than what you thought.
Sounds like an episode of True Crime All the Time.
It does. According to Jennifer's aunt, Lisa Fiera, who was close to her, there was no indication to me that there was anything going on between the two of them other than two young people that was loving each other. They were crazy about each other. Okay, so maybe she's not seeing quite as much as Jennifer's mom was seeing. Jennifer and Joey broke up in the fall of 2003, but they started seeing each other again soon after. You ever have that situation?
Breaking up, getting back together, that kind of situation? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I never did, but I knew a lot of my friends who did that.
Yeah.
Well, it happened a lot in high school where you'd break up for a day, but I'm talking about later in life where you break up with someone, you kind of go your separate ways, but then you
find yourselves back together.
Yeah, back in a relationship together. That is not something that ever happened to me. Maybe because by that point, nobody wanted to be around me after they'd been in a relationship with me. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll have to break that down at a later time.
Yes. Maybe not for the podcast. In December 2003, Jennifer and Adrianna moved in with Joey and his parents, Joseph and Cindy Benton, in Springfield, Tennessee, about 12 miles from Cross Plains. After that, Jennifer had limited visits with her mother and sisters, but she spoke to them on the phone regularly.
Not like she's real far away, though.
And that's why it kind of jumped out at me. 12 miles is not a great distance to traverse.
No, you're talking 15 minutes in a car?
To see your family.
Yeah.
So was there something else that was playing into her not going to see her mother and sisters as much?
Control?
And that's where my mind always goes, because so many of these cases that we do center around someone in the relationship, let's face it, normally the male, is controlling. And part of that control oftentimes is limiting your partner's access to their loved ones or systematically shutting them off from their friends and family. In February 2004, Joey dropped Jennifer off to see her sister Casey on her birthday. This was one of the last times they saw each other. So obviously he wasn't cutting her off completely. She was definitely talking to them on the phone regularly. I don't know if we're reading too much into it. Maybe it was just that she had Adrianna, she had stuff going on. I don't know, but it's hard for your mind not to go there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be natural to wonder.
On March 22nd, 2004, Jennifer's aunt, Lisa Fiero, drove Jennifer and Adrianna to the hospital. Adrianna had been feeling sick and had a rash. On March 23rd, Kathy Nail met Jennifer, Joey, and Adrianna outside a Dollar General so she could give Jennifer a homemade cream for Adrianna's rash. She recalled, "The baby was crying to go home with me. I had to work the next day. I said, but you can come to Mimi's next weekend."
Well, grandkids always like to go to the grandma's house.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think first of all, they get away with more.
Well, for sure.
At the grandparents' house. They may get more treats, they're spoiled. But that's what grandparents do, right? That's what they're there for.
I remember very clearly when I had my first child and I took my daughter to my parents, and my parents would let her do anything and everything that they would never let me do. And I what's going on here?
Like, who are these people?
Yeah.
These are not the people that I grew up with.
Exactly.
My mom had a habit of taking the girls, sugaring them up to the point where they were bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
And then just coming like, oh, here you go. And I'm like,
good night.
You just dropped, Stitch off with me and they're bouncing off the walls. Jennifer agreed to let Adrianna stay with Kathy the following weekend, but this was the last time Kathy saw both of them. Jennifer did call Kathy on March 24th from the Benton home. She was distraught over a fight she had that evening with a member of Joey's family. Kathy tried to calm Jennifer down. She told Dateline, I just said, everybody will be calmed down tomorrow. Things will be better in the light of day, and if not, you just call me tomorrow. Jennifer said she'd call the next day, but this was the last time Kathy heard from her.
Such a parent thing to say.
It is. But, I can't help but think of these conversations that ultimately turn out to be the last conversation that anybody has with someone.
Right.
But when you read the conversation, it's pretty innocuous. I mean, yeah, there was something going on, some fight, but I don't know that it seemed that dire. And as most people would do, you're trying to calm the person down. You're trying to reassure them that everything is going to be okay. Right. Unfortunately, it's not going to be okay.
And probably when you think about this conversation in your head,
later on,
you're like, maybe I should have said, come over here, or let me come get you.
And see, I think that's where the guilt comes in these types of cases. There was nothing wrong whatsoever, right, with what Kathy told Jennifer on the phone. All of us could probably see ourselves saying the exact same thing. The difference is when it's the last time you ever talk to someone and then someone, ends up disappearing, you're going to beat yourself up. There's just no way around it. Like you said, Gibbs, those thoughts that go through your head, could I have done more? Could I have done something differently? And if I had, would it have changed the outcome? Jennifer called her aunt Lisa Fierro on March 25th. She said she didn't want to live at the Benton house any longer and was planning on moving out as soon as she talked to Joey that day. Jennifer said, as quoted by her aunt, if he doesn't agree for us to leave when he gets home, I'm leaving and I'm coming to your house.
Okay. That's pretty direct.
It's direct. It also makes me think that her mind was made up. It's not like she was wavering, well, maybe I'm going to do this. She sounded like she was pretty resolute.
And if he doesn't agree, like if you're an adult, if you tell somebody you want to leave, you should have the right to leave, right?
Well, that's a good point. That statement, if he does not agree for us to leave, I'm leaving. And I don't know if she means like she wanted to move out with him. And if he didn't agree that all of them would move out together, she was just leaving. It's a little vague.
Yeah, it really is.
Lisa left the spare key out for Jennifer in case she decided to come over later that day. Lisa told Dateline she never came, needless to say. I also know for a fact that if something had not happened to her, she would have called me, and she didn't.
Sounds like they were pretty close.
Yeah, I think they were. But, again, this all kind of goes into that bucket that we examine in most of the cases that we talk about. When you think about someone just kind of running off versus something happening to them. Jennifer seemed pretty close to a lot of different members of her family. She talked to them regularly. Does it make sense, Gibbs, that she would just up and leave, take her daughter, and never have any further communication with any of her friends, family, any of that?
Yeah, that definitely does not make sense.
It just doesn't seem like there's any way that would happen. So what are you left with, right? When someone disappears, a lot of times you're left with, well, this was most likely foul play.
Yeah.
Dateline spoke to Lisa's son, Jeff Grayson. Jeff was friends with Joey Benton and they worked at a construction site together. Joey left work abruptly on March 25th. According to Jeff, being a normal day, we're just working, and Joey got a phone call and had to leave. It was really fast. It was really, something happened, we got to go. I got to go. It was really, really, really urgent. So I think he's stressing, number one, how quick and fast all of this occurred, but number two, kind of how strange and out of the ordinary maybe it was.
Yeah. So maybe something happened to Jennifer or Adrianna?
Well, according to Casey Robinson and Kathy Nail, Joey later told them he found Jennifer locked inside their room. When he got home that evening, Joey and Jennifer went on a drive to talk about their relationship. Joey said Adrianna was also with them. They decided to break up during the drive. So, you can go through a bunch of different scenarios. Maybe he got a call from Jennifer. Said, hey, I'm packing my stuff up. I'm leaving. And he rushed home.
To try to save the day?
Yeah, to try to stop her or whatever it was. But then you have, his version of events, which is they go out on a drive, the three of them. And it's during this drive that they decided to break up. Folks, when we started out this podcast, there was a lot that we had to figure out on our own. Equipment, writing, production. It was super overwhelming. And every day seemed to introduce a new decision that needed an answer. Finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything can be such a game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Shopify has hundreds of ready-to-use templates that help you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/TCAT. Go to shopify.com/TCAT, shopify.com/TCATT. Homes.com knows that when it comes to home shopping, it's never just about the house or condo. It's about the home. And what makes a home is more than just the house or property. It's the location and the neighborhood. If you have kids, it's also schools, nearby parks, and transportation options. That's why Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth information they need to find the right home. And when I say in-depth, I'm talking deep. Each listing features comprehensive information about the neighborhood, complete with a video guide. They also have details about local schools with test scores, state rankings, and student-to-teacher ratio. They even have an agent directory with the sales history of each agent. So when it comes to finding a home, not just a house, this is everything you need to know, all in one place. Homes.com. We've done your homework. 2 days passed with no word from Jennifer, which was unusual, especially what we just talked about, right? She had this plan, which was to move out of the Benton home. The family started calling around and looking for her. According to Casey, Joey did not answer repeated calls.
And that all seems strange, right? If she ended her relationship during that 2-day period of time, why wouldn't she have reached out to her aunt that she was close with or her mom to say, hey, we broke up. I'm going to move in with Aunt Lisa. I'm going to come home, live with you, or whatever.
Or just show up.
Or just show up, exactly. It's not like she was far away.
Well, because here's the thing. She already had made it known that she didn't want to live there anymore. And Joey's saying that we broke up during this drive. So to me, that's even, more of a motive to want to get out of that house. You're not going to want to live in the home of this guy's family with whom you've just broken up.
And if her family's trying to get a hold of you, why wouldn't you answer your phone?
Now, he could make the argument that, he's heartbroken. He doesn't want to talk to anybody in her family. He's just going through all these emotions.
Yeah.
But you can also look at the sinister side of it and say, well, he doesn't want to talk to anybody because he doesn't want to be asked questions. He doesn't want to answer questions that may come back to haunt him at a later date.
Exactly.
When they were finally able to speak to Joey, he said something to the effect of, I don't know where she is. We broke up. I dropped her off at the gas station.
You dropped her and her daughter off at a gas station.
Well, he doesn't even say anything about Adrianna. I mean, I think you have to surmise that if he's dropping off Jennifer, he's also dropping off her daughter. I get it, right? Breakups are tough. You're in a car. Could you see Jennifer saying, you know what, just drop me off at a gas station? I could see it, but to me, immediately after being dropped off, she would be calling someone within her family.
Yeah.
Or a friend to say, hey, come get me. I'm at this gas station. I just broke up with Joey.
It makes me think that he's fabricating
the story.
The story.
Yeah, it's hard not to think that. Because again, when things don't make sense, what are you left to think? Most often it's that, you know what, this story just isn't that true. Joey claimed that Jennifer got into a white car with Adrianna. He didn't provide a detailed description of the vehicle or the driver. Kathy reported Jennifer and Adrianna missing on March 27th, 2004.
Again, I'm sorry, but this is the woman that you love and the daughter that you pretty much treated like your own daughter during this relationship.
At the very least, had been helping to take care of.
Yeah. And you don't remember what the car really looked like besides it was white and you don't know who was driving it. It doesn't make sense to me.
And here again, right? She has all of this family.
Yeah.
That's not, 10, 12 miles away, probably, from wherever they are. 14, 15 miles, not far.
That would come to her aid if she wanted them there.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'm sure she has friends that would do the same thing. So she, instead of calling these people, is going to get into a white car with someone. Now, the first thing that the police are going to do is they're going to start talking to all the family and friends, right? Does anybody have a white car? So if it's not a family or a friend, who would this person be? And back to your point, it just makes the story seem, very implausible. But Jennifer's family didn't think she would leave with Adrianna for an extended period of time without taking things like a car seat, diapers, and other essentials they would need. Because again, if you're not calling family to come get you or a friend, you're going off with someone, we don't know who, you're going off with basically nothing.
Yeah.
Or very little with you.
Aren't you going to need diapers? Aren't you going to need a car seat?
Now, you could stop at a Walmart or something and pick up diapers. But again, who is this person you're leaving with? This is much different from, some of the stories we've done where people are estranged from their family.
Right.
They don't talk to them on a regular basis, so they might need to get help from an unknown source. That was not the case with Jennifer Wix. She had plenty of friends and family who, like you said, would have in a heartbeat jumped in their car, I think, and come and got her.
And what if and it's not even that. I mean, he could have taken her home.
Well, yeah, we haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
I get it. You've broken up. But can you drive the 14 miles and drop her off with family? Now, I'm sure maybe in his story, he said something, I don't know this to be true, but he could have easily said, well, she didn't want to be in the car with me anymore. She was adamant that I drop her off at this gas station.
Right. Possibility.
Casey Robinson recalled finding out Jennifer and Adrianna were missing. She told Dateline, panic is like the only way I can describe it. I just remember it all happening and being so young at the time and not really understanding. what was happening. When the police questioned Joey, he gave 2 accounts of what happened on March 25th. He initially said he last saw Jennifer leaving with a friend. He didn't know. He then said he took Jennifer and Adrianna to a grocery store in Cross Plains at Jennifer's request. He then took them to an Exxon station and watched them get into a white 4-door sedan.
You know, if the story is what really happened, then why do you have to change your story? The first thing you told them should be the thing that happened every time you tell that story.
And then the thing that jumped out to me is in, the second version, he's in Cross Plains, which is where her mother and sisters live.
Yeah, why not just take her home?
The police searched properties tied to Joey Benton and his family, but found nothing. Investigators did not name any suspects publicly. Despite searches, a $17,000 reward, and billboards to raise awareness, Jennifer and Adrianna's case went cold. In a 2008 interview with Fox 17, Joey's father, Joe Benton, said, "We done everything we could for a year to try to help find Jennifer. We just don't know where Jennifer is."
And Adrianna?
Well, I'm assuming he is saying that as in wherever Jennifer is, Adrianna is as well. I mean, this is, part of the story that could go a number of different ways, right? Joe Benton could be talking very honestly, saying, hey, we were out searching for her. We don't know what happened to her. Because at this point in the story, we have nothing to cast suspicion on Joey's family.
Right, exactly.
There's some suspicion on Joey, obviously. You'd have to say that. In December 2013, the Wix case was officially reclassified as a homicide. The Robertson County Sheriff's Office posted details about the investigation on their website, writing, "The investigation led deputies to the Robertson County home of Jennifer's boyfriend, Joey Benton, where Jennifer and Adrianna had been living with Benton in an outbuilding on the property. Joey Benton claimed that on the evening of March 25th, 2004, Jennifer asked him to take her to a grocery store in Cross Plains to use the phone. As mentioned, Joey said he then took Jennifer and Adrianna to an Exxon station. Benton said he pulled across the street and watched as a white 4-door car pulled up and Jennifer and Adrianna got inside. Benton also claimed that on March 26th, Jennifer showed up back at his property, collected her belongings, and said that she needed some time away.
Well, that's a new statement.
Yeah, that part seems new. But did you think it was strange that he said she asked him to take her to a grocery store in Cross Plains to use the phone?
Instead of taking her to her mom's?
Or instead of walking inside the house?
Well, that's true too.
And using the phone. I don't even know, 2004, a lot of people had cell phones. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But
well, why not going into to their house?
Yeah, or somewhere closer. Cross Plains, as we said, was what, 14 miles away?
Yeah.
So that part seems strange, just to use the phone. According to the sheriff's office, Joey's claims that he took Jennifer and Adrianna to a grocery store and gas station, and his claim that Jennifer showed up at his house the next day were never independently verified, despite countless hours of investigation and numerous interviews.
I think it's probably hard to verify that information because I don't think it exists.
Well, it is very hard to verify something that's not true, right? Just by its very nature. But, when they say countless hours of investigation, I'm assuming that included going through maybe some surveillance video at the grocery store, the gas station, interviewing the people that worked at both places, all of that. Also trying to track down this 4-door sedan and who might have owned one.
Because you would think that with all the potential videotape and eyewitnesses that someone would have seen her and her daughter and or this white 4-door car.
Yes. And or him.
Or him.
I also thought it was interesting that he said, he drops her off at this gas station. And then he pulled across the street and he sat and watched while she got into this car.
Yeah.
The police also confirmed the last person known to have spoken to Jennifer was her father, Michael Wix, who phone records confirmed talked with her at approximately 11 a.m. on March 25th, 2004. Michael told detectives that his daughter spoke of arguing with Joey Benton's family and that she was looking forward to seeing him in Manchester on the following Sunday. Michael Wix has not heard from Jennifer since. So here's the second time, right? We hear about Jennifer getting into an argument with Joey Benton's family. Not just Joey, but the family.
Yeah.
We don't know the extent of it. We don't know what was said, who the argument was with exactly. By December 2013, the Benton household had been searched 4 times, and investigators drained a pond on the property, but no one, including Joey Benton, has been eliminated as having potential involvement in the disappearance of Jennifer and Adrianna Wix. And I think that in and of itself is a strong statement. I think it's hard, definitely, to eliminate Joey based on the stories he's told, but they're also saying no one, which would include the people in the Benton household.
Yeah.
The sheriff's office noted that there had always been strong implications of foul play, and the case was investigated as a homicide from the beginning. And I don't think that's a bad thing. You and I have talked about that in other episodes where in the beginning, it wasn't investigated as a homicide, which meant maybe there wasn't the same level of evidence collection. Maybe there was no evidence collection because it was treated as a runaway.
Right.
Or that this person left voluntarily. At least the sheriff's office is saying that's not what happened here. The DA formally requested that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation take over the case. The TBS had been assisting prior to that. The TBI confirmed that the last person reported to have seen Jennifer and Adrianna was Joey Benton. Sheriff Bill Holt said in his public appeal, "I strongly believe that there are persons in this community who know what happened to Jennifer and Adrianna, but who have been reluctant to come forward for one reason or another." And to be honest with you, and I almost always think that's the case in a situation like this. There's someone who knows.
Absolutely.
But there is a reason why they don't want to come forward or they're reluctant to come forward. Maybe they were involved in some way, or maybe they're afraid of retribution.
I mean, it could be foul play. It could have been some type of accident that turned into some foul play to cover up an accident.
Yeah, maybe relating to this fight that she got into with the family.
Yeah.
Something got out of hand and there was a cover-up. I see that angle. But if that were the case, you definitely have at least a number of family members who would have known what happened.
But families stick together a lot of times.
Well, and also coming forward would most likely implicate one or all of them in something if they had something to do with it. After the 2013 announcement, Joey's grandmother, Carol Benton, told the Tennessean, "I don't think they ever had another suspect other than Joey. I'm sorry she went missing. Don't get me wrong. We loved that little girl. She would come up to the house and eat supper with us. So when they asked us, we let them search. We never refused, but she's not on our property. We don't know nothing about it." And, let's be honest, the only reason that you would let the authorities search the property is if you know for a fact she's not there. Now, does that mean you didn't have anything to do with it? No, not necessarily. You just know that there's nothing on the property that's going to incriminate you. So you're more than fine, right, with letting the authorities search it.
Is it worth bringing up or not?
Yeah.
I just find it weird that they talk about Jennifer and Adrianna more singular.
Yeah, she said, we loved that little girl. I don't know if that refers to Jennifer or Adrianna, but either way, like you said, it is singular. You would think that any comment would be made about both of them.
Yeah.
So that's a little strange. Carol said that the last time investigators asked to search was several years earlier, and the family refused at that time. In the years that followed the announcement, Jennifer's family continued searching for answers and raising awareness for the case. Kathy Nail often left home to follow up on leads, some of which took her out of state. And I don't know how you couldn't, Gibbs, follow up on everything. Even if you had to drive 3 or 4 states away.
Yeah.
If someone gave you a lead that you thought could even remotely be credible, you'd be hopping in your car and driving to wherever.
Yeah, you want to find out what happened to my daughter and granddaughter.
Casey Robinson told Dateline, my mom did the best she could to still be there for us. She would be gone all the time. And so for young girls, that's really hard to cope with. The disappearance and loss of your sister and niece, but also the loss of your mom.
Yeah, these cases impact so many people.
In so many different ways. And I think Casey's explaining, one of those ways here. I mean, she lost her sister and niece, has no idea where they are, but she's also talking about the loss of her mom because her mom's just gone all the time trying to figure out what happened to Jennifer and Adrianna.
Yeah.
So there's a loss there as well. Kathy Nail explained how the disappearances affected her to WKRN. She said, if you've ever had a child that doesn't get off the school bus like you expected them to, or hides under the clothing rack at Target, that minute of panic that you have, just that moment of panic, this has been 19 years of that moment of panic. And I think a lot of parents listening can relate to that. I mean, who hasn't had that experience where their kid just runs off, they're around the corner? It's sheer panic.
It really is.
To think that you don't know in that moment where your child is. So imagine that stretched out over 19 years, day in and day out. I don't know how some of these people function. I really don't. The stress, the grief, the panic, the heartbreak, all of that you think would just kind of beat you into submission. But yet people persevere through it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Kathy did as well. Kathy started the Facebook page Justice for Jennifer and Adrianna Wix in 2011. In recent years, Casey has taken over as the family spokesperson and runs the Facebook page where she posts regular updates. Now, the family believes Jennifer was murdered. They don't believe there was ever a white car, and there were red flags before Jennifer and Adrianna went missing. Casey said she was isolated from her family, from the only people still fighting for her. And that's kind of what we were talking about, hinting about earlier. You were starting to get a little bit of a sense that Jennifer and Adrianna were being isolated from their family. Yes, she was talking on the phone with them regularly, but she wasn't making regular visits. Now, why was that? Was that because Joey was trying to keep them away from the family?
Maybe.
A lot of controlling people, that's how they do it.
You know what I have a problem with is when you have your girlfriend and their daughter move in with you and you're in love and this is what you want. And then, unfortunately, sometimes things don't work out and you decide to break up. But the night you break up, they go missing now for 21 years. But you don't really do anything to help try to find them. Where are you at in this picture? What are you doing to help that scenario? I mean, we don't know what he did back then and what he's done over the years.
But if you solely go by the reporting, you would have to say it doesn't seem like much. I would say that because you would think there'd be some reporting on it. And that's basically what we have to go on. True Crime All the Time Unsolved is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Kathy told Dateline in 2024 that she still has some hope. Adrianna may be alive, saying, "I would hope that even if things got out of hand and somebody harmed Jennifer, that they couldn't harm Adrianna, that they couldn't harm this innocent child, and that maybe she's still out there somewhere." And I understand that thinking. She was pretty young.
Sure.
But there also could be a scenario where if Jennifer was harmed, it was thought that, Adrianna could at some point identify the perpetrator. I think you have to keep that in the back of your mind at least.
I agree.
As hard as it is to think about. Kathy has entered her DNA into Ancestry in case Adrianna is still alive and chooses to do DNA testing one day. Recently, there have been big developments in the case. On the evening of March 27, 2024, law enforcement executed a search warrant on the Benton home exactly 20 years after Jennifer and Adrianna were reported missing. Neighbors and friends called the Wix family to let them know what was happening. The family said in a statement to News Channel 5, 20 years ago today, we reported them missing. Law enforcement have never been on that property to conduct a warranted search. That house has the answers we need, and we're hoping this is the day we get them.
20 years later.
Well, they had been out to the property, I think, a number of times. But someone in the family is saying they've never conducted a warranted search. So it sounds to me like they had asked the family, hey, can we search? They didn't have a warrant. They searched, didn't find anything.
So if this is true, the family's going to be pretty excited.
Yeah, because they haven't given up. After a story about the search aired, Joey Benton called News Channel 5 and said the warrant had nothing to do with the Wix case. He explained that his family had to leave the house temporarily due to something dangerous on the property. He noted that they did allow groups on the property to conduct searches years ago. On March 29th, Smoky Barn News received a statement from the Wix family confirming the search warrant was unrelated to the missing persons case. And he just said they had to have been excited, but then what a letdown that must have been to find out that, they had a search warrant, but it had nothing to do with the missing persons cases.
Yeah, what a big letdown.
After the warrant was executed, Joey's father, Joseph Benton, faced over 40 charges for unlawful possessions of weapons, explosives, and sexual exploitation of a minor.
Okay. So we're getting into the character of this individual.
Well, and it's that last one that really jumps out at me. Sexual exploitation of a minor. And Joe was already in jail after being convicted of aggravated assault against his wife.
Anger problems?
Well, he had a lot going on, that's for sure. And as a felon, he was no longer allowed to have weapons in regards to the sexual exploitation of a minor charge. Joe Benton was indicted for unlawfully, feloniously, and intentionally and knowingly having material that included a minor engaging in sexual activity. The material was a 20-year-old photo of a family member. According to court documents, he was accused of possessing that material between January 1st and March 15th, 2024. Did it jump out to you that it was a 20-year-old photo?
It did.
And they went missing 20 years ago?
Yeah.
But according to Fox 17, none of the charges are directly related to Jennifer and Adrianna's disappearance. Because my first thought, Gibbs, was that this 20-year-old photo could have been of Adrianna or something along those lines. You know, Jennifer found out, she obviously would have gotten irate and things got out of hand.
But if it's not, it still puts him
in the category,
yes,
of potentially doing something to a minor.
Right.
And I think if you can even look at that stuff, or if you can possess it, is it that much of a leap to think that you could do something unlawful in that way? I don't think it is.
Yeah, same here.
Casey Robinson met with the DA. She had hope that the charges could lead to answers. She told Fox 17, the charges that are being handed down are big, and it could potentially be used as leverage in our case. Casey also revealed that Joey agreed to talk with her and Kathy for the first time ever in a sit-down meeting. According to Casey, he actually came forward and said, "I'm ready to tell y'all everything." He told a different story, that everything he had told the first time to me on that first phone call was a lie.
That's big news.
It's a bombshell. Now, the problem that we have is that Casey declined to give details for fear of compromising the investigation, but she did say Joey gave information about what happened the day Jennifer and Adrianna went missing. Joey also said, according to her, that their remains could be somewhere local. And that was the first time in 20 years that Jennifer and Adrianna were referred to by the Benton family as remains.
Yeah, that's really sad, tragic.
So if this all went down the way that Casey has relayed, it's really hard not to think that Joey knows exactly what happened and was at least in some way part of it. Maybe him alone, maybe he was part of it in conjunction with some members of his family. But if he truly knows that they're dead and is saying that their remains can be found locally, well, he knows everything.
If this is true, then what a piece of shit, right? How do you go through your life the past 20 years and not let the family know what happened to Jennifer and Adrianna?
Well, you want to know what the simple answer is? You don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
You don't want to face the repercussions of what you did.
But meanwhile, the family has to wonder day in, day out where their loved ones are.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That is terrible. But I think it happens all the time because the need for self-preservation trumps everything else, right? These people don't give a rat's ass about the feelings of the victim's family.
Yeah.
In comparison with them wanting not to be locked up. In June 2024, the family and investigators dug in multiple wooded areas in Robertson County, but nothing has been found as of yet. According to the Tennessee DOC website, in October 2024, Joseph Benton was sentenced to 3 years of probation on a weapons charge. And I kind of thought 3 years of probation for all the different things we talked about was pretty light.
Yeah, it's really light.
So I don't know what happened to the possessing of child pornography. Didn't talk about that. Investigators consider Joey Benton a person of interest per KRN, but neither he nor anyone else has been publicly declared a suspect. There have been no credible sightings of Jennifer and Adrianna Wix since 2004. If they are still alive, Jennifer would be 42 and Adrianna would be 23. You can view aged progressed photos of Jennifer and Adrianna on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website as of March 2025. The TBI and Robertson County Sheriff's Office said there are no new leads in the case. If you have any information about the disappearance of Jennifer and Adrianna Wix, you can call the Robertson County Sheriff's Office at 615-384-7971, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FIND, or email tips to TBI at tbi.tn.gov. You can also send a message to the Justice for Jennifer and Adrianna Wix Facebook page. So, Gibbs, as we wrap this one up, I get it. No one, including Joey Benton, has been publicly declared a suspect. And there's a reason for that. You need some, I think, substantial evidence to get to that point. Obviously, you need some evidence to call a grand jury, to get an indictment, to go to trial, to charge, all of that. There's a couple of things that really stand out to me about this case. Joey's statements have seemed to vary throughout the years. And according to Casey, he all but confessed.
Sounds like it to me.
Talking about where, their remains could be found and all of that. Again, we don't know the veracity of that. I don't know why Casey would lie. I can't imagine why, there would be a need to lie about that. I understand why she wouldn't want to come out and give all the details.
Yeah, if she's close to maybe recovering the bodies.
Or it could compromise the investigation in some way. And then you have Joey's dad, Joe Benton, who is probably out of jail now, I'm sure. He just got probation,
right?
As far as we could tell. If he really had this, material that included a minor engaging in sexual activity, that's nasty, in my opinion, obviously.
Absolutely.
But this wasn't made to sound like this was a picture of some stranger. It was said to be a 20-year-old photo of a family member.
Right. I wonder, did Joey have something to do with it? Or did Joe have something to do with it? And Joey was pulled into like a cover-up. I'm just really curious on what was said to Casey. I just want to hear what was actually said. And hopefully one day we will, right? I mean, you said it until the investigation can be completed. And
Yeah. This just happened, fairly recently.
Sure.
Where she says he kind of came clean with the details. So I do feel like this is one where we're going to get later on down the road, the full story.
Do you think his grandma feels bad for the statement she made about the police are just focusing on Joey and focused in on Joe instead of where they need to be?
Yeah, I don't know, given what's transpired in this case, how you could really put your focus anywhere else.
Exactly.
Now, we don't know that they had anything to do with it. We can't sit here and say conclusively, but where is everything pointing? And so far, it hasn't pointed anywhere but either something happening with this fight at the Benton home,
right?
Or, Joey and this so-called breakup drive, and seeing this white four-door sedan pick them up. Other than that, nobody has seen them.
It's true.
So I also think the fact that they couldn't corroborate this story about them all going to the grocery store or the gas station makes it seem as though that didn't happen. So if you rule that out, what are you left with? That maybe they never left
The farm.
Yeah. Now they might have later, but whatever happened to them most likely happened out there. Again, we don't know that. We can't say that with any assuredness, but I don't know where anything else is pointing. I really don't.
Well, it sounds like we're getting close to maybe some closure on this.
Yeah, I think so. I think we will. But that's it for our episode on the disappearance of Jennifer and Adrianna Wix. We got some voicemails, Gibbs. You want to check those out?
Let's hear them.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Gibby. It's Brandy from North Texas. Just wanted to call. I'm listening to the Johnny Gosh episode on Unsolved. And, Mike, you were talking about your dachshund or your dachshund, your dachshund named Pepper. I have a miniature dachshund. His name is Maverick. He's 9 pounds. He's almost 8 years old, but he has mega esophagus, so he's a special needs baby. But I agree, dachshunds are great dogs. I love them so much. And my wife wants to have a house full of dachshunds, but I think that's a little too much for me. But I love the show. Keep up the good work and keep your own time ticking. Thanks.
Yeah, my dachshund Pepper was my childhood dog. Just a great dog. I do think that dachshunds are great. And for some reason, I have not had one since.
Really?
Yeah. Now, my wife would probably have a house full of Maltese.
She would.
If I'd let her. But there's a limit to how many dogs I think you need in one household.
Currently, it's 2.
Yeah. It was almost 3.
I think it could be 3.
Because we went to go see a golden doodle the other day almost came home with us.
I feel like there could be a third dog here in the next year. I really do.
I think so too. 3's not, too many.
Closest I ever came to having a Datsun was the Datsun car.
Okay. It's a Dachshund, first of all. I can see you tooling around in a Datsun.
Hi, my name is Rosamund Schultz, and I am the sister of Roxanne Paltoff, who you just featured on your most recent episode. I just wanted to call and thank you both from the bottom of my heart for covering her story. It's been almost 19 years since she went missing, and hearing her name spoken and cared for and talked about brings me so much hope. Thank you for not letting her story fade away, and thank you for reminding people that she still matters. I just wanted to confirm that that was me who made that Facebook post about the roaming charges. So that was me. It's hard to put your trust in your faith in the police department when they have made several mistakes in my sister's case, but ultimately they're on our side. So I don't fault them for that. It's just really frustrating that it's been so long. Roxanne has 4 siblings, and we've all had children, so she has lots of nieces and nephews. We miss her and think about her all the time. I have Roxanne's name on a Google alert, so I get emails when there's something published about her. So I just got finished listening to the episode, and I thought it was wonderful, and I really appreciate you guys for doing what you do. So I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope y'all have a good summer. Thank you.
So I definitely wanted to play that, Gibbs, because number one, it touched me when I first heard it.
Yeah.
When you cover these unsolved cases, you're never sure how the family is going to react to your coverage. You try to be as respectful as you can. We always do. But, I have heard from people sometimes that said, well, we got this wrong or we got that wrong, which is going to happen.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes the reporting is wrong. But that just meant a lot to me, what she said. And I do think it's important, to keep these cases in front of people.
Keep them fresh.
Because if they're not talked about, does that lessen the chance that they're going to be solved? And I kind of think it does. you see true crime docs or a podcast or whatever it is, there is a small chance that somebody watching or listening might know something about it, or that it could help renew police interest in a case.
Sure. Or armchair detectives.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So we appreciate the voicemail a lot. It meant a lot to us. All right, buddy. That is it for another episode of True Crime All the Time Unsolved. So for Mike
and Gibby,
stay safe and keep your own time ticking.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.